Hi guys. Today I figured react to a video I saw. Um, just to react to it again, give some thoughts on what I liked, what I disliked. The video is from ASMR channel, and they are taking apart a bass guitar that's been abused and um, redoing restoring it. So they'll restore the base and make it look much better than it used to. There's that. All right, let's minimize this, pull up Brave, and here we go. All right, so within the first few seconds, I'm already noticing this white finish is nice in some ways. It's just kind of poorly put together. And of course the little bits of for lack of a better word, graffiti that are on there turn me off a bit more for the space. um, Another thing is the knobs. These are very cheap knobs. I have no use for these. um, I hate the way they look. um, we'll get more into the video and I'll show the parts more. um, Alright, so you can see the pin or strap button back there is very corroded and nasty. That can be taken care of either a couple of ways. Probably with the sonic cleaner if it's got junk in it. Same with these um same with this bridge. Although personally if I had the money I would get something better than this. You don't have to spend much in order to get a nice bridge. In fact, while I'm looking here, I'm going to show you a bridge that you can get right now. Um, I believe it's on Amazon. Um, Base bridge. Whoops. And I'll have to scroll a little bit. There it is. See that's one you could get. You could get it in black. You can get it in many different colors. This is a string through bridge. The main drawback of this is that this part right here, this screw, doesn't go all the way through. This screw right here for the action adjustment is in the way. But anyway, I just thought I'd show you that. I could talk for hours about that bridge because I bought one of the chrome ones and put it on my jazz bass. And I put it slightly in the wrong spot. So anyway, it's a whole story. Another thing I'm noticing right now is, well, the pick guard and these pickups that are painted over so haphazardly. Um, Now, in the description of this, I'll just show you the description. Um, Greco jazz bass made probably around 1980. Um, yeah, so it's these pickups probably aren't worth shit, honestly. You you're probably wanting something that won't be microphonic. Now, when I was watching the video earlier, I didn't hear the sound demo at the end. That's the finished product, right there, in case you were wondering. A little sneak peek. But just going by the looks of the bass and what I would do, I'd probably put a set of DiMarzio pickups in there, if I could find some, used on maybe eBay. I have a set. Another thing I'm noticing right now is the distance between The bridge and the bridge pickup is probably in the 60s position, which wouldn't be one thing I would like. But anyway, let's continue with the video. Okay, immediately that jumps out at me. Like, look at how rusty that is. You could probably end up saving him. He does end up saving this stuff, but again, it wouldn't be that big a deal to replace those screws. They're pretty cheap. It's an expense that if you take the time to clean them, you might be able to salvage them, but they look okay in terms of not being stripped, but you know, I probably wouldn't want those either. Yeah, you can already tell with the wood grain, it looks really nice on the back. Whoever did this did a much better job on the back than they did the front. There is a little bit of yellow over here, something brown or yellow here. But you'll see how he goes through the process here in a minute. We're just not even in the first minute looking at this. I think he ran out of paint. So in order to make this look nice, you'd have to clean all that stuff off the neck and get that, basically sand off all that finish off of the fingerboard, or however you get it off. And another thing one thing I like about this base is these solid tuners. I don't think that they cheaped out on these. So the gears don't look like they're in worse wear. They look pretty good shape. So you'll see how he deals with these here in a minute. A couple of minutes. I might have to skip through the video a bit because he takes his time. So he's gonna take off the pick guard here. And let's put this here. There we go. Down the pick. My base, which it wouldn't be, but if it was, I would want the bridge to be changed out to that other one that I showed earlier. So it's just a small little upgrade, and you can get string ferrules to install in the back and make it a string through if you really wanted to. I personally don't, but that is a great bridge. It also, if you look at it, it has the one I showed you. It's like a K-Mize bridge. It has the variable string spacing on it. So if you want to make your string space out a little bit more, you can get like 19 millimeters, I think. I don't quote me on that. I'd have to look at the listing again. Anyway, so he's removing the screws. Look at how much rust is coming off of those. Internet's slow today. Sorry, guys. Anyway, so he's gonna have to figure out this neck here next. So there go the screws to that. There go the pots. That's a really cool tool that he has to get all those loose. So that's pretty cool. When I first watched this, I thought that this would go in a sonic cleaner, like and you would put a solution of distilled water, and it would shake it at sonic sub subsonic frequencies or whatever. I forget how exactly the sonic cleaner works. It uses sound, obviously, and vibration, but he does something different with this, which you'll see here in a minute. Yeah, the pots on this look pretty old. They're really corroded. You might be able to save them, but it might just be better to get something that you know works instead of. And then this was what really got me. This metal plate that they put in order to ground everything. Not sure if that really does anything. It looks like rather than painting it or shielding it with some sort of foil tape, copper or aluminum, whatever you use. I have foil tape, by the way. You probably see it in the shot somewhere. But instead of using that, they use a grounding plate, and I'm just confused by that. I've never seen that before in the Caveney. I have seen little grounding screws um, with conductive paint. I have conductive paint, by the way, but haven't used it. So anyway, that's how that comes out. Look at all those wires. I guess, and the one thing I don't notice is, I'll bring my cursor over so you can see. There's no bridge ground wire here. You'll see what they did with the bridge ground wire here in a minute. Yeah, there we go. That's the bridge ground wire on the plate, or on the plate on the plate. So there's that. And yeah, that just looks like ass. That's terrible. So the body is stripped of all its components. He'll get the sand machine in a moment. Or she, I'm pretty sure it's a guy though. Yeah, I like this. Here, let me rewind this a second. Oops. I like the tuners where the shaft is all straight here, more mass here. Now, if you're looking for base tuners or something a little bit smaller with the tuning posts, there is a brand. Actually, it's I searched this earlier. So AliExpress has the best deal on these. You can get them in silver, you can get them in gold, you can get them in black. So you get the right-handed tuners, because these are facing right when they're on the back of the headstock, and then when you turn when you're looking at the base, it looks like they're turned left, but that's just how they are. Here's an example of that. You want the right ones. Even though this is towards the left, it is the right one. And that's a great price, by the way. That's pretty good. 50% off. Yeah, you could get these tuners with the deal that they have on AliExpress. Of course, the shipping's a little bit much, but you get the idea. Um, tuners like the Wilkinsons are good for bases that have a smaller radius or circumference tuner post. I'm sure they make some that are bigger, but anyway, just thought I'd mention that. That really doesn't want to come out, does it? Oh, wow. By the way, the hammer that I use is very useful. I use it for frets, use it for other stuff like that. Now, I'm going to tell you this nut is actually brass. You'll see that here in a couple minutes. Yeah, there it is. It doesn't look like much, but once that paint is off there, it'll shine up. Originally, they had a pretty good idea about changing out, getting rid of the finish and then painting it. Of course, it wasn't executed the right way. So the main thing I think is that if I was doing it and I had the tools and the money and the time, I would probably sandblast this and probably not fill the grain. And then I would put a white stain on it. And then, maybe you don't know. Have it without a pick guard. So that way the whole thing shows off. I can't think of any other pick guard I would want to put on that other than Tortoise, which is what he ends up putting on there. He puts a faux tortoiseshell pick guard on there, which looks really nice. But you'll see what you've already seen a sneak peek of what it was that it looked like, but you're about to see how I think he screwed it up. Anyway, there are some spots to fill if you want it to look nice. And if you were doing what he was doing and painting it that color that he's going to do, you probably should do this for this part. See, the thing is, I'm lazy, so I would probably want to do that. Not mess with any of those cracks or anything, because really, I think they're just surface, and the wood filler makes them look worse than they already are. So I just live with that. You can see that. Let me just point at this right here. You can see there's a channel cut out for getting a tool in there. that rarely ever works when the channel is only this deep. You really want a deeper channel, or you have the adjustment at the other end, which is what I prefer, because usually I have a stinking big humbucker right where that channel is. So it's I would rather not have the adjustment down there and then have to take the neck off if I was doing it that way. So, in case I didn't already make my point known, I've told a few people in my inner circle, but I think an ideal bass would have a humbucker in the neck. It could be a mudbucker, it could be a Music Command pickup, doesn't really matter. And then you have your single coil right here in this position, and then maybe below it you either have a Music Command pickup or two single coils here, and then another single coil right at the bridge in the 70 spot. So I don't know how that would work, but you'd have to space it out somehow. Maybe do something with scale lengths. So I would prefer to have more pickups than just two. And then you could end up wiring it with volume knobs for each. And there's such a thing as a 5-pot 5-hole control plate, and then you can put double volumes on there, like stacked knobs on there, if you really wanted to have all the controls you wanted, or whatever I would want. I probably would only want the controls for all the jazz pickups, and then a control for this, and then I'd have to figure out a way to get it all to work together with the impedances, but I guess that's something for an engineer to figure out and not me. Anyway, just thought I'd just mention that. So this standing step is probably something you should do. Just really get in there and take it down a bit. Like I said, I would probably want to do it with the sandblaster, just to give it that look. Give it a, yeah. So it already looks great, but he's going to. I'll appreciate the guy, but he's gonna put in, make a wood filler and put it on. And this is where I think he messed up, is actually painting it. So you'll see what he does with this, and every time he brings out the rattle can, I'm just like, no, dude, don't do that. So I'm not happy with the fact that he used the rattle can on this. So just checking the video. Yeah, I mean, I think that he could just as easily have left the guitar like this with the stuff he's putting on now, and then an oil coat on top, like the tongue oil finish, and that would have been a look too, sort of like the GBT40. That's an easy finish. It's not hard. Goes to tongue oil. But of course, he wants to paint it, so this wood grain is really nice, even though it is just a few pieces. I mean, I count I think that there's this whole thing right here is a piece. I think this is a piece here. There's definitely a piece. Yeah, right here. So basically 3 pieces, more or less, for the body. I mean, they flow so nicely together, so it's hard to tell what is not a piece of this. I mean, this right here could technically all be one piece. But then once you get here, it's hard to say that that's not another piece of wood. Whoever matched the grain on this did a really good job. I'll just mention that tung oil finish, you can get it as gunstock finish at Walmart or other stores like that, outdoor stores. Dick's probably has it. You get the tung oil on there, and it looks really nice. So I think he's putting clear on it first. Of course, I mean, that looks good by itself, but yeah, what he does here in a second is, I thought originally he was making another pickguard when he put this on. I guess I'll leave it up to you to guess what this device is. You'll see here in a second what he's gonna do. Alright. Yeah, my heart sinks when I see that. Red paint. I mean, it'd be cool if he did the whole guitar in that, but I think what he's doing here, yeah, what he's doing is he's trying to get a burst. I mean, that alone could be cool, but I'm not completely sold on it. Now, this is unforgivable right here. My black. That's just too dark. Yeah, we'll skip ahead a little bit. So you can see the worn steel in it. How it looks. Now here, let's see what he's doing in a second. This is something I completely didn't think was necessary until I saw what he was doing. So, let's see here in a second what he's doing. Yep, the edges. Doesn't want any of that old finish showing through. Could be an effect, but that's not something that I've seen done. that looks like lipstick on a pig. Really makes it look cheap. All this is just making it look different. Really ain't sonic differences. People fight after that. Fight with me about that stuff. But, also, there's very little difference that this finish is making to the wood. It's just a look thing. If you were to do a double blind test between two of the same guitars, just one with minimal finish and one that's been decked out with finish, you can tell which one was which. And of course you have to throw a wild card in there that's completely different in order to make it different. But yeah, once you get the double blind and to show it off, you know, where you don't show the guitar, you just hear the sound samples, and they're just labeled 1, 2, and 3, and you have to pick the best sounding one. You won't be able to tell double blind. So just ask fun trickers. I mean, pissed off a lot of guitar players with this methodology, but it all makes sense. I'm trying to save this money. The reason I would want to upgrade the pickups in this is to eliminate noise in the pickup. I would probably want the Marzio Ultra, something like that. And the reason is it's not necessarily the sound of the pickup, it's just that it doesn't have weird grounding problems usually. They sound nice when just with the one pickup soloed, the 60 cycle hum. And they don't make noise when you tap on them with your fingers. It's man, what is that term called? It's not microphonic. So that looks okay. I mean, there's still some orange peel on it. So if he was doing his due diligence, he'd really sand that sucker out. Alright, the neck is the most interesting thing to me, honestly. The body, you know, it's okay, but this is what's going to make it play. And when after he's done with getting off all this stuff, that he checks the radius. So so you see how round that neck is? It might be more playable, but at the same time, you can't get the action super, super low on this. That's why you probably would want a 12-inch radius or bigger, or even a compound radius. Basically, if you don't know what that is, you have a rounder radius up here, and then a flatter radius down at the higher end of the neck. That's confusing, I guess, because this is higher in pitch than down here. So, anyway, music terms are confusing. But the other thing you see is that there's a lot of chip out here, and it would probably be a good idea to, once the frets are in, to get some wood putty in there in order to fill them. Of course, I don't think he shows that or does that. So, yeah, I would personally re-radius this fingerboard if that was possible. It might mess up the inlays though. So, if it was just dot inlays, I wouldn't be minding as much about redoing them. But from what little I know, I think the higher number radius is still playable and can make the string action be a lot less high. So anyway, that's log. Probably like 7.25 radius. I don't think you could chance it up to 12 though, because those inlays would not look right. Now that I think about it. So I don't like the fact that this person is using a stain on there. Those are really jumbo. Those are really wide frets. I don't know that they're jumbo or what they are. He has a little file there that's pretty cool. I would love to have one of those. He's got the hammer. You might need a fret press in order to get them properly seated. Of course, threads so that they're not sharp, and then we'll go around with the file here in a second and dress them when the time is right. He has to do leveling and crowning first, so he's going to put on high visibility Sharpie. You don't want to use black or anything that's not visible. Red's probably best. And you want something that has a tip that's pretty big. That way you can cover the whole fret. It's probably good to put the tape there. Really clean it up. Now he has a special sanding leveling beam. Now I'll show you something really quickly if I can. Actually, I don't think I can stand up. I'm in my underwear. But basically, you get a leveling beam, really cheap one, and then get some spray adhesive. You don't need to buy sticky sandpaper. Just get some spray adhesive, and some maybe some tape. Yeah, just put some tape down, then a spray adhesive, and then attach it to the level beam, and then you can turn like a level beam into a well, this is a leveling beam. I'm talking about a level, because that's flat. So the one that has the liquid meters on it that allow you to know whether or not you are completely level with something. Anyway, probably a good thing that I didn't get up and he has a little one for the edges, the frets. Now the reason he's redoing that is he's using this thing called a crowning file. Now notice very quickly that he has a little bit of an angle on that. It's not directly perpendicular to the fret. It's angled over a little bit cockeyed. That way that you can get the line that you need in the right spot. See how it's walking back and forth? Getting it right. And that file right there is a special one. I think you can make these out of bastard files. You'd have to mill off the back of them. But that would, you could probably mill a bastard file into that shape. In case you don't know what that is, it's a flat file, and they're very useful for leveling frets if you don't have a really fast way to screw up a neck, by the way. That's what happened to my Ibanez bass with the double P pickups. I ended up doing a leveling job on them and overdid the leveling with the bastard file. So a lot of the frets were not in the right spots. So the reason that is I didn't take the time to clamp and glue down the frets. So that's why I screwed it up so bad. And I took it into a tech in Johnstown. I'm not sure if I told this story before. Probably have. Anyway, when I was in Johnstown, are we getting signal? Are we? Yeah, we're getting signal. Okay. Sorry about that. When I was in Johnstown, I ended up having to go to this place in a strip mall, and I wanted my bass fixed because it just played like ass, and he did an okay job. I paid him like not that much money to him. He didn't do he basically kind of gave up and raised the action on it as well as raised the relief. And I didn't like that, so I eventually lowered it, and it was good enough to play that it could be done if I avoided certain frets. So moral of the story is glue your frets before you file them away, because if you file them away, you can't put more material on. So it just makes it harder for the next guy. The other moral of the story is if you're not uncomfortable with the work or you think you'll mess it up, may as well have a luthier show you how to do it. Maybe review. Definitely review how to do it. Anyway, here we go. Metal polish on those new frets. Yeah, I think we use Micromax when we're good enough. It's a good thing they're gonna look like new Now he can't leave that fingerboard. Probably shouldn't leave that fingerboard without some sort of finish on it. So here in a second, he'll be putting on a new finish. So he's taping everything off so he doesn't get extra finish on the headstock, or on the back of the neck. And he doesn't want it on the frets either, so he's covering them. And then he has to cut the tape to size. So he almost took it off. Yeah. And And when I was watching this the first time, it almost looked like this fingerboard was made of cherry or something. I don't know what it was. Greco makes their neck fingerboards out of. They probably could have used a different material than maple and gotten away with it. Of course, keep wearing gloves because there's some nasty stuff. And micro mesh, I think. Some sort of mesh. Or maybe that's a sanding pad. And of course, he's going to put on polishing compound. Very helpful. Now, of course, the tape that's on there has to be. He has to get out the knife, special X-Acto blade, and get all that tape off. You'll see what he's going to do here with this fret slot. Looks a little sloppy here. It goes around a bit, but that's okay. You're not going to see that. And this is a cheap base anyway, relatively. Cheap to make. Maybe not cheap to buy because it's a it's technically vintage. Over the frets again. Yeah, look at the mirror shine on that. You can see his camera in the neck. Very nice. And look at, even looking at the back, it looks so much nicer. I suppose they knew what they were doing on the neck. If this base wasn't vintage, I'd probably replace those pickups, as well as fill a new spot for the ground wire. Of course, that, I don't know, maybe I can keep that plate on the bottom of that pickup. There's a little, I don't know if you saw it, but there was probably a brass or something, I don't know what it was, some sort of grounding plate on the bottom of that pickup. So of course this looks, yeah, there it is. This looks a lot better. Yeah. And the one thing I don't like about those grounding plates is the rubber underneath. Usually with Fender pickups, or Squier pickups at least, they have foam with a spring in the middle. At least on the newer ones. Like, not that long ago. I guess they've been doing that a while. But they basically have foam and then a spring in the middle of that foam, instead of having springs around the screws, which helps to make sure that pickup is secured. And a lot of the times the pickup is not potted, so these probably aren't potted, so that it's good to have that plate on the bottom for these. With the Demarzios, they'd be a little bit too thick, probably a little bit too thick on the bottom in order to put a plate underneath, and it'd probably be excessive anyway. So that's just a thought I had. Now if they wanted to take that grounding wire right here and still use the hole that was made for it, you'd have to unsolder that, solder it to a new wire, and then route it through the pickup cavity, through the bridge pickup cavity over to maybe the neck pickup cavity. I'm not sure where exactly it comes out. We'll see here in a minute. This is going to be a surprise. Yeah. I don't know why when I first watched this, that I thought that this stuff that I was putting on the control plate wasn't going to take all that paint off, but it's doing an excellent job. There's still scratches in the plate though, and I don't know, you probably would want to, I probably would want to replace that and put that in a parts bin, because it's so easy to get another one. Now, since the serial number's on that, I probably have to take that. Okay. Looks better. Yeah. Now, this is where I don't understand why they take the time to work with this. I mean, I know that the rust is superficial, but these bridges are just not contributing anything to the sound of this bass. It's a sustain. So, I think that's one of the things that does make a difference. It certainly makes the bass feel a little snappier. But I would have to, again, if I was being a true empiricist, I'd have to check that with a double-blind test. Okay, moving on. Yeah, you don't need to see this. So this stuff is pretty potent with chemical. I don't know what it is because it's in a different language that I can't read. This looks like some nasty stuff. Looks like this guy's pretty serious. He's got his sleeves up just in case it drips on him. So, this looks pretty nasty. And, of course, this all gets rinsed. And I like that it didn't take that long. You only have to sit for a little bit. From what little I saw, it didn't sit that long. So anyway, taking away the... Still looks crappy though. Useful, just don't use them on your teeth, folks. Yeah, congratulations, you polished a turd. Oh goodness, look at those. Yeah, that's not good. Now earlier, I don't know if I said, but when he was, I guess the screws reminded me of earlier. When he was taking out the screws of the pickguard, I probably would just chuck those, because you can get pickguard screws for pretty cheap. You don't need to keep those old ones. You could sell them or chuck them. No, not much difference. Yeah, I'm thinking that that screw pattern is pretty weird. It doesn't look like a hex. I guess it is hex. It is hex, yeah. Yeah, like I said, that's polishing a turd. Now this might be worth saving. You can get it apart. Whew. That already looks better. My goodness, what a difference. Yeah. Get it. Woohoo! That's the question. There's that, what I was talking about. That's the brass nut. And the main problem I have with brass nuts is it makes the open string sound too good compared to the fretted notes. Don't know how you can fix that. There's that plate. Alright. Yay, new pots. Woohoo! B pots for the volumes and A pot for the tone. What would be really cool is either a Tone Monster or an Audio preamp. Like a Pro Z Audio Jazz preamp with the maybe you add in another spot for the output jack, and it would look pretty good. Sound pretty good. Of course, you can always use a pedal, and it does the same thing. No, not really a need to have a preamp in a bass unless you always want it there with you. So, if you're somebody who always has their pedal board, then there's not really much need for a preamp. It's not a thing to make your volume gain staging weird. He's got the pretty big soldering point. That way you can conduct the heat to the spot very well. Yeah, those look like new screws. You did a good thing. Brother, if you're gonna put pots on it, put more pots like this one. Don't use those. Oh, that still looks crappy. I don't like that. And also, he's not using the washer on that. I don't see a washer. You use Loctite in order to keep those in there. This is nerve-wracking. Yeah. Putting this post in because it could split. If it's too tight, it will split. The wood will split, yeah. That doesn't look as bad. I don't know if that's a new part. Yeah. That amount of glue makes me nervous. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna skip ahead here in a second. I haven't heard the sound samples from this. I assume they're good, but we'll have to see. Yeah, there it is. I don't even know what fret material he used. If it was steel or nickel silver. So I'm not thrilled about that finish, and you can see the orange peel in it. So if it was me, I'd probably do the same thing with the orange peeling, but well, anyway. Looks like I would have to guess that's 70s position. He strung this up with pretty cheap strings. Sounds like he's in drop better. This tone sounds better. Sounds like he's in E flat tuning. Technically D sharp. Okay. Enough of that.
Hello, guys and gals.
No, I don't want to watch that just yet. Anyway, let me switch to cam only and center myself. Yep, there we go. So I hope you enjoyed me reacting and giving my thoughts on the Greco restoration. It was cool to watch the video, at least for me, because I noticed some things. Hope you learned something, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Maybe I can answer, or somebody else in the comment section can answer. Please keep it civil down there. That I really would appreciate that. Not that that's been a problem, but it's hard to stay civil when talking about guitar tone or bass tone or any of that stuff. Anyway, see you in the next video. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.